So what is Office 365? Well, Office 365 is a subscription plan from Microsoft that includes many of the Office applications that we're used to, such as Microsoft Word and Excel. We have OneNote here and Outlook. Now, traditionally, you were responsible for deploying these as well as managing the licenses and make sure that you were in compliance with Microsoft as far as how many deployments you had and what type of licenses they were. Now with Office 365, those licenses are managed through the Office 365 portal that can be accessed via the web. Another big difference with Office 365 is that in addition to the ability to install the Office applications locally onto desktops and laptops, we can also install them onto mobile devices as well, such as tablets or phones. We also now have the ability to run the applications via a web browser. This is called Office Online. And if you're familiar with Outlook Web Access, it's a fairly similar concept where instead of Outlook being delivered via a web browser, now you have all the applications being delivered via a web browser. As a matter of fact, they kept the OWA acronym and called this Office Web Apps. However, recently they've now standardized on calling these products Office Online, as well as the individual products such as you can see here, Excel Online, Word Online, Outlook Online, and so forth. Now, in addition with the applications that you're used to coming with Microsoft Office, there are some additional ones that you may not be as familiar with. The first one is Exchange Online. Now, Exchange Online is just what it sounds like. It's an online version of Microsoft Exchange. So now, instead of just giving you Outlook, which needs to be connected to a mailbox server somewhere, they're provisioning you a mailbox in the Exchange Online environment that's located on Microsoft servers. Then we have Skype for Business, which was formerly called Link. Now this started off as an instant messaging application, but now also includes video chatting and screen sharing. We also have OneDrive for Business, which was formerly called SkyDrive Pro. It's really just SharePoint MySites, but it's used as a cloud-based file storage solution, similar to how you would use something like Dropbox or Box.net. It allows you to save files to certain folders that are then synchronized with the cloud. So not only are they backed up, but they can be accessible from other computers as well. Speaking of SharePoint, Office 365 licenses, at least some of the plans, come with SharePoint Online licenses. So if you have any local SharePoint sites or want to build a SharePoint site, you can do so with the SharePoint Online. Now, I want to mention that both Exchange Online and SharePoint Online can be deployed in hybrid environments where part of the Exchange or SharePoint infrastructure is located on-premise and part of it's in the cloud or on Microsoft servers. And we'll get into hybrid Exchange environments later on in this course. Finally, we have Yammer, which is Microsoft's social networking platform, which is similar to Facebook, but for corporate environments. So you can have a Yammer environment for your users and let them collaborate and communicate via familiar social media tools. So what are the benefits of something like Office 365? Well, for an IT department or business, license management is key. The ability to manage licenses from the cloud portal relieves a big headache for IT department. Often they have more deployments of Office than they need, or certain users have more expensive versions of Office than are required. With the license management tools provided by Office 365, they can log in and see how many of each type of licenses they have and how many are being used. So when it comes time to true up for the enterprise agreement or to do a software compliance audit, it's much easier for them to determine what's being used and what's not, as well as being able to deprovision or remove licenses that shouldn't be used. Ease of deployment is another big benefit for the IT departments. Previously, with traditional Office deployments, the IT department would have to create packages that included special configuration options and volume licensing keys into MSI packages or some other deployment package, which they then deploy to their users. With Office 365, if the IT department so wishes, they can allow the users to log in and download the installation directly to their machines, as long as they have the local installation rights that they need. In addition, new features and updates are rolled out automatically as well, as long as the IT department allows it to be so. Software assurance is another big positive for IT departments. Normally, separate licensing was required, and it was always difficult to keep track of how many licenses you had and how much software assurance you had, in order to make sure that older users always had access to the latest versions of Office. There's no more software assurance with Office 365 because the subscription model itself allows users to have access to the latest version of Office applications all the time. Legal compliance is more and more becoming a huge requirement in businesses where they need to be able to comply with legal requests, information requests from lawyers when it comes to e-discovery. So having the ability to put whole mailboxes or specific mailbox items or specific files on legal hold is something that Office 365 allows us to do. Now, for high availability, we're now relying on Microsoft to keep their servers up, in particular their Exchange Online servers. So if we decide to migrate our mailboxes from on-premise Exchange or from third-party mail providers to Exchange Online, we are now able to take advantage of Microsoft's high availability infrastructure, and no longer is the burden on us to maintain highly available Exchange servers in our organization. And less infrastructure investment is generally considered positive. We're no longer tying up capital in fixed assets, and we don't have such a large physical footprint to maintain, as well as going green initiatives and power and cooling. We become much more agile when we're able to move infrastructure to not only a subscription-based model, but outside of the organization. Now, for the users, they also get the benefit of having new features and updates whenever they become available. Now, as an IT department, you can set an option so that new features and updates are not automatically rolled out to new users right away, but you can allow certain users to get those updates and those features right away for testing purposes. Users also have the ability to access multiple versions, so if they need to go back to an older version of Office products for a particular application or for a particular reason, they can do so. The concept of Office Anywhere is the ability to access that web version of these tools. If a user needs to perform some sort of business task while they are away or only have access to a home computer or some sort of public computer, they can still access their files as well as their Office applications via a web browser without having to install anything locally. And finally, they can collaborate with other users of the same organization or with users that exist outside externally to the organization, either partners or customers. They can do so by having web conference meetings with them, or by securely sharing files from their OneDrive environment, or by allowing multiple people to edit the same document online. Okay, so next up we're going to be discussing cloud fundamentals.